All right, so I am making this video a little bit early. I actually plan on recapping and reviewing Netflix's new show, Love is Blind. They released about 5 episodes on Friday the 14th of Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. Or happy single awareness, or happy non-romantic, or no, it can be romantic. Non-physical romantic love. If your Valentine's Day was your best friend, that's all good. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you guys about a particular couple. So there will be spoilers. If you plan on watching the whole show, then don't watch this now. You can come back and get my opinion later. But I wanted to jump on real quick and talk about the couple. Diamond Jack, I think she's 28 and from Vegas, and Carlton Morton, he is 34. I want to go with 32 because there's a 4-year difference. Hold on, I jotted it down. No, he's 34, and he is from Opelousas, Louisiana. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this. It is my opinion, but it is a little bit of a voice. I am part of the LGBTQ community. I am a lesbian and damn proud of it. And very, very gay, and I wanted to have a conversation about this couple because it comes up. He is also part of the LGBTQ community. He is the B right in the middle. He is bisexual. And this conversation is so much bigger than the video I'm about to make. Both of these people are Black people. They are, part of the African American community. They are people of color. So clearly there is, obviously, if you can't look at me and tell, there's a side of this conversation that I am not privy to, that's not really in my lane. I will mention that in the homosexual, bisexual, the queer environment, it is very well known and understood that queers of color face, on average and as an overall, a much harder time in their communities, a much harder time coming out with their families. I am not saying that white, Caucasian, transparent skinned queers like me don't have problems. We have problems too with our families. There are people who get kicked out for being gay. There are people who are disowned for being bi. I'm not saying that. It does happen. Violence happens to our community in all colors, but disproportionately, people of color in our community receive a lot more violence, a lot more of the attack. It is just a harder and much more difficult process. So I want to say that because that's about where I have to stop the conversation. I want to acknowledge that. I want to be open about it. I am very okay with having that conversation as long as you understand that I am not speaking for the community of color within my queer community, because that's not my place. And there you go. So in this conversation, what I am going to talk about is this. The entire premise of the show is to get to know each other without seeing each other. You're picking a person based on their soul and on their humanity and on the parts of a person you can get to know strictly from conversation, right? And Carlton in this chooses to withhold the fact that he is bisexual. Now, at one point in the conversation early on, he said, it's the conversation with the camera, not with Diamond, but with the camera, he says basically that it's very difficult. He gets judged. He's had people reject him. And then he chooses to not give her that information. So they build a connection. They build this outpouring of information about each other, and they build this bond. Okay, now Diamond is somebody who seems to be guarded anyway. She is a smart girl. Earlier in the show, she has a maybe 2-minute date with a guy named Barnett, and she picks up quickly that he is a douche, and she don't want no part of that. And it's a very small thing, but she is a girl who knows what she wants to avoid, right? But the bigger thing is that she knows herself well enough that she doesn't want to play any games. That is not what this experiment is about. She wants to meet somebody based on who they are, and she doesn't care. She's decided she doesn't care what they look like on the other side of that wall, right? Now, they get to know each other. And even during his proposal, it seems like he's holding back. He keeps saying, I want to be seen for all of me. I want to know it's safe. I could tell you anything. I could bare my whole soul to you. And he's going on and on. And it's almost like, I might be mistaken, I would love to ask Diamond if she picked up on there was some level of something hasn't been said. He is selling her on a contract, an engagement. It's a contract that he is going to ask her to be his wife, and then as his queen, as his ride or die, as his equal and his partner, she will never turn her back on him, no matter what he says. She'll never judge him, no matter what he reveals. She'll never, do you see what I'm saying? Now, he has a reason and a motivation behind that. Those are all beautiful sentiments. If everything has been put out and you are both agreeing that no matter what comes up, we're going to take it and never judge and never turn our backs on each other. But that is a lie. It's a falsehood. If the person writing the contract knows that they are withholding very important and pertinent information, and it is important and it is pertinent. And I'm going to say this because people always want to say people don't want to fuck with bisexual people. Here's the thing. You have that right. Now, you might miss out on dating some amazing people because some amazing people could be bisexual, but you have that right. If you are a cis heterosexual human and you want to date/marry and have children with a cis heterosexual human, you have that right. That's okay for me to say that, right? That's okay for anybody to say that. People have preferences. They have some people like brown eyes, some people like blue eyes. And you could easily go, you're missing out on something. And so I guess here's the thing. He didn't tell Diamond that he was a bisexual person. And I believe this, I truly believe this. Had he dated boys as a teenager, had that been just part of his stories, I dated, I thought I was bisexual at a point. I did date a couple of guys. I realized that I actually am straight and heterosexual and I want to be with women. And now he is heterosexual. I think that would have been a different situation. But he identifies as part of the queer community. He identifies as a bisexual person. And so in that, it's really not fair. It's fine. Let me tell you something. The queer community is beautiful and amazing, and I love that I am part of it. But it's also okay if a heterosexual person who's not part of the queer community doesn't want to be. I get it. That's fine. Do you, Diamond has her right. That doesn't mean she's not an ally. I mean, I don't know if she is or isn't. She doesn't comment on that. But what I'm trying to say is you can be an ally to the queer community and still only identify as heterosexual and only date people who identify as heterosexual. You can be an ally to or a friend, and you could be supportive and still not be part of a community. That is the reality. So in this whole, what happens is they get engaged and they get whisked off to get to know each other even more in a face-to-face way, to take that bond over into the real world. But here's the thing, and this goes to the whole, you might miss a bunch of people if you only date people with brown eyes. You might miss the blue-eyed people, right? If he would have disclosed everything, if he would have built that entire bond with her, gotten to the point where she was going to say yes to an engagement, and then also had that conversation, you got her on the hook, she's in love, and now you tell her before the engagement, I need to tell you something about my past slash sexuality. And he would have said, I am bisexual. But please understand that as a bisexual person, I still can absolutely be monogamous, and I still can absolutely pick the one person I want to be with out of these two groups and be with that person. And this is something I've always dealt with, is being judged. If he would have told her all of that, there's a chance she might have gone, okay, you're my number one. This is new information. I don't understand it, but I want to learn and grow and get to know you even more. Let's do it, right? But he didn't. He didn't do that. He asked her to be his wife first, and she said yes. And then he saw her in person and got down on one knee and gave her a ring, and she said yes. And then they go away, and there's this whole day. I don't know if it's a day or two because of editing, but there's some time together, and she knows, because I told you, Diamond Jack is a smart girl with a cool name. So Diamond Jack knows something is wrong. He's holding something back. I'm telling you, whether she knew it or not, she knew it in that pod. But she's like, what? She has to ask him to come forward. And then he gives her the information. Okay? Boom, there it is. A lot of people are reacting to this as if she all of a sudden rejects him because he's bisexual. But that is not what happened. What happened was, all of a sudden, this person who you were supposed to know inside and out without ever seeing them, this person who was supposed to be so transparent and open that looks don't matter, he has changed the game because he withheld something very serious. And she needs time to process. Added to that is the fact that he's asking her, a assumedly cis heterosexual woman, to now embrace something that he has already acknowledged is hard for the Black community to really embrace. He doesn't feel very, supported by that. He it's hard. He says those things. He verbalizes those things. But now he wants her to step into his shoes to be a part of this. And that's a lot. He's had a lifetime to decide if he's going to come out on TV. He's had a lifetime that led him up to where he is, to where he all of a sudden he's feeling like, I'm going to say this on TV and be open and embrace it. I live in Louisiana, one of the worst possible places to be queer, and I'm going to put it out there. That's fine. That's his right. That's his 34 years worth of life accumulating to that decision. She is 28 and has never, ever been a part of the queer community that we know of. And all of a sudden he's asking her to step into it on TV and marry in. And she's a little bit taken back because it's a lie by omission. It is. So she's taken back and she's like, I need some time to process. And he says, okay. And he goes away. When they see each other again, they're at a pool. And she's trying to explain where she's coming from, where it's not even so much about the sexuality or the secret. It's the secret itself. It's the fact that there was one. And she says to him, I'm going to say it, it's not a direct quote, but pretty much she says, you played the experiment. And she is 110% correct and right in that statement. He played the experiment because he wasn't honest and he didn't bare his soul and he didn't take the risk. He took away her choice. He did not inform her, and it wasn't fair. And when she says you played that the experiment, he loses his mind and calls her a bitch. So disrespectful, so ugly, so judgmental, so unsupportive, so just all of the things he's accusing every other person of being. Now I get it, he's feeling attacked, he's feeling rejected for this secret. And he's unable to see, it's not even about what the secret was at this point. It's the whole idea that you didn't play the game correctly. It wasn't fair. And on top of that, it's a big secret to ask somebody just to go, cool, yeah, let's do it. So when he calls her a bitch, she reacts. And I know I don't know the girl, but I know that she's not happy with her reaction. I know that she is feeling like, are you serious? You lied to me. You asked me to marry you under false circumstances, and now you're going to disrespect me when I'm working so hard to be as kind and as respectful to you and your sexuality, when really in this moment all I want to do is call you an asshole and walk away. So she is using all of her self, like, her ability to keep herself in check. She's using it all to be as kind and supportive and respectful to him, and he just steps out of that. So she full on reacts and walks away. I think she throws a drink and then she walks away. And as she's walking away, he says, check your wig because it's been slipping. So here again, I'm going to point out the color of my skin, and I'm going to say I don't have a lot to talk about on this conversation, but I am going to comment a little bit anyway. As a Black man, he should understand even more than anybody outside of Black women what it is to attack a Black woman's hair. If you don't understand the work and there's so much more to the societal pressures and the upkeep, and there's just so much involved and around a Black woman's hair. And the idea that a man of color she's trying so hard to support, even though you're a part of a queer community that she doesn't know or understand, but she's trying to support it and not be ugly, but yet still deal with the secret, and you're going to go straight for her hair. It was ugly. It was disrespectful. It was disgusting. And it proved that he is exactly the opposite of who he was pretending to be in that pod. It proved that just like he was holding back that one secret, he was a completely different person in that pod, and he was holding back everything. And she was right. So I just wanted to put that out there because I see her getting a lot of heat about, like, oh, bisexual people can be in, good relationships, and she just rejected him because she's bisexual, which, one, I don't think that's true. And two, even if it was, she has her right. And this is not on Diamond. This is on Carlton for lying to her. Okay. So having said that, I hope you guys join me for my full recap of the five first episodes, because I have a lot to say about all of them and I'm pretty excited.